Hello, everyone. How are you today? So good to see you. So sorry I'm about 2.5 hours later than normal. I probably have a lot of people watching it on replay. But I wanted to see you all, and it's been kind of a busy day. Hi, Frank. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Good to see you. Hi, YouTuber, Peggy, Jen. Thank you all for being here. Sorry it's so late. I wanted to still get in here, though, and I figured anyone who is already asleep or whatever can see it tomorrow morning. So, if need be. But welcome. It's so good to see all of you. Sorry I did not get on here on Easter. Our our festivities went on and on and on. So sorry about that, but I hope you were able to watch the couple of videos I put out on Easter. And I also put out a short today and another video for you to watch. And I hope you all watched it. And if not, you have something you can watch in the morning. So good to see all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Shining Star, I have new socks on. Good. Hi, Caroline Miller, Christy Smith. Hello, fam. Hello, hello. Yo, mama. Michelle Reed Duncan. Hi, Gypsy. How are you? Ocean Joy. Julie. Hi, wait, what? So we are going to talk about Hi True Crime. Oops. Lover Marley. Good to see you. We are going to be talking about Summer Wells, missing from Rogersville, Tennessee, missing 1,408 days today. We are going to be speaking about Jonathan Hoang, missing from Arlington, Washington. Very, very almost mirrored circumstance as to Sebastian's disappearance in many, many ways. We will go over that again. And he has been missing 24 days out of Arlington, Washington as of today. And Sebastian Rogers, missing 422 days as of today from Hendersonville, Tennessee. We're going to talk about all three. There's a few things going on with all three of them. There are some updates, some cases. One thing that's very interesting is that at night in Dog the Bounty Hunter, thank goodness, we've always been saying, what about Summer? Summer needs someone. Summer needs someone. Well, they have taken Summer under their wing. She is on bulletin boards with Sebastian, and I believe individual of her own now too. Summer needs that. Summer was reported missing June 15th, 2021. It is a case that really got to our hearts. She's a beautiful little girl. She had a interesting environment that she lived in. And if you're new to the case, have no fear. I've been doing a couple of little things on Summer here and there to get you caught up on the case. It was cold, is cold. She lives in a county, sadly, where, and I hate to say this, the sheriff has been pretty silent. The lead detective we've heard from once in the almost 4 years, and TBI, the public information officer, does not get out there. Leslie Earhart does not get out and talk about Summer as much as you should when there's an Amber Alert. The Department of Justice, they want you to keep their name, their face out there alive in the media. Don't share things that would impede your investigation, but find ways to still keep their face, their case, their story, their disappearance out in the media. Sadly for Summer, that is not happening. It really is not. She needs the attention too. So the billboards, it makes me so happy because she as well is from Tennessee. She is also from Tennessee. So Summer was 5 years old when she went missing, June 15th of 2021. She had a super fun day with her mom. Her brother stayed home to clean house. The story was for CPS because they were coming the next day. And Summer got to go on an outing with her mom, her grandma, and one of her favorite friends. Summer has 3 brothers who no longer live in the home. They were removed by Tennessee Child Protective Services. I believe have since been adopted. They're very happy, thriving. Sadly, Summer saved them. Now we need to save Summer and find her. So her situation brought eyes and saved those boys because they were taken out. They were put in temporary care. The parents were given an opportunity because we know that rehabilitating and putting back in the home is the goal of CPS. But so they create a plan, right? There's a plan. Well, if you were around, you recall like Candace missed a court case or two, and they weren't working that plan to get the kids back. So they didn't get the kids back. And the kids, I believe, have since been adopted. They are thriving, they're happy, and I'm glad they have a chance at a life and a future. And I'm sure they will keep them in our prayers as well as Summer. They all were victims of 110 Ben Hill Road, in my opinion. And I don't mean to be rude, but the more you learn about the case, Summer, when she did go missing, her head was shaved. The little girl in the thumbnail here with the full cheeks and the color in her face and the hair bob, that is not what Summer looked like 6 months later when she went missing. Her head was shaved. She had dark circles under her eyes, very pale, even though it was summer. And they usually play outside, like they said. Summer's an outside person. We listened to that interview the other day together with the parents' first interview, and she always wants to be outside. But when she went missing, very pale, dark circles, very thin, head shaved, she looked like a boy. And Summer, actually, the picture you see here is what the mother gave to law enforcement on June 15th when they reported her missing. And the irony of it is that Summer looked like a little boy when she went missing. So this picture right there being given and, put out on the alerts and everything, she didn't get her alert, I don't think, until the 18th, but I wrote it down, June 18th. But she had an endangered missing alert, and that was the picture. So if anyone saw Summer, she looked like a boy at the time. In my opinion, I know I would not have, let me just say that, I would not have connected the picture that's in front of us now with what Summer looked like with her head shaved, thin, pale, dark circles, very skinny. So I don't know why that was done, and the reason I'm questioning that is because, yes, Carol, thank you. The reason I will cover that, thank you so much for bringing that up. The reason I mention that is I think it's very, very important because Mom had videotaped her that day swimming. And Mom had taken a photo of her on the way home, leaned up against some milk cartons. It's a famous photo now. And on our next live with Summer, I'll bring it forth because I'm going to talk theories with you and those of you who might know by looking at nail beds and all that what you think of it. But the last photo was just minutes before she went missing, allegedly, because it was on their way home. And she went missing shortly after they got home. And that photo wasn't shown. She was asleep against some milk jugs, eyes closed. The video of her swimming at Warrior's Path was not shared. It was this photo that didn't look like her. So anyone who was looking for Summer like that would have allowed the shaved head Summer by them because that Summer could have looked like a boy. So I'm going to pause for 1 second. I'm just going to write down where I ended with Summer. about the photo. So it's very odd when they had the, photos from that day, Mom had, and video. So, hello, Joanne Marie. Okay, I will certainly look at it. Thank you. Hi, Jen. Hi, Holly S. Hi, Jen in Georgia. Hello, everyone coming in. Carol G, SCP Foundation. Oh, did you change? Oh, you were. Okay, hi, Meow. Hello, everyone. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. I'm sorry we're so late tonight. So summer has been gone 1,408 days. Now the thing about Summer's disappearance was she had a fun day too. Brother stayed home to clean the house, and she went with Mom to drop Grandma off at an appointment at the emergency room. Right there, I'm not sure if they make appointments at the emergency room, but I've never heard of it. Grandis is the name, what we call Summer's maternal grandmother, because her name is Candace Bly and Summer's mother's name is Candace Bly Wells. So we call Grandis, or the grandma, Grandis instead of Candace. Thank you, yo mama. You're so sweet. So they dropped Grandis off at the emergency room is the original story. Summer's mother, who saw her last, was with her last, said. Then they went and picked up one of Summer's favorite friends, Hunter, who was a teenage boy. They went swimming at Warrior's Path. Hunter said Summer went under. He got her out. Candace said, nah, she was fine. She didn't go under that much. They went and picked up Grandis and went home. Dropped Hunter off and went home. Later on, it became Grandis went to Warrior's Path with them, okay? But then they also stopped at the grocery store to pick up a couple of things, and also just a couple of things, and also went and got slushies at Sonic. Now, the irony is when they did get home, part of the narrative of the mom is I had the boys come out and help unload the groceries. But they had only gotten a couple of things. She said, like milk and a couple of things. So interesting. See how things started to kind of morph, and that's what was happening in this case. And in this case, you have a lot of drama, a lot of people speaking who didn't speak up for little Summer when she needed the help. Hi, CB. And but they love to talk now. Opposite of Sebastian's case, we have Miss Bobby who came in front of the camera to help and shared what she knew, but other neighbors not so much. But in Summer's case, all the neighbors, like they love to talk. Some started channels. I mean, unbelievable. But not about it. It's a lot of mixed up things. So this case gets very convoluted. So we have to be careful. So when I tell you things, I'm going to tell you a lot. It's a rumor. There is not much fact other than this. Summer went missing, or was reported missing July 15th, 2021, and has not been found. She has an active Amber Alert. And honestly, that is really all law. On the update this past year, law enforcement came out and said there's two choices. She got lost or was abducted. That was interesting. That there were just those two choices that they came up with. So not a lot on the case at all. No investigative information. No, we don't see searching or anything like that. However, also, Mom didn't search. Mom wouldn't even come out the night. Dad was at work, out of town. Mom was with Summer when they got home after their big day, and Summer was in her brand new outfit from Grandis that was meant to be for kindergarten, and Summer was wearing it in that last photo, sleeping against the milk cartons. And allegedly, when they got home, they got up, the boys came out to unload the groceries. Grandis, with her sore knee, wanted to plant flowers. And Candace said, I know a little girl who'd like that. Summer came running, wanted to plant the flowers. They planted the flowers. When they were finished, Summer said, I want to go in and play with my brothers. Candace said she walked her to the front step. You could see her walk in, and she was there maybe 2-3 minutes fixing her mother's brace, and went in, and the boy said she was downstairs playing and nowhere to be found. Dad's the one who called 911, allegedly. We haven't heard the recording. And when law enforcement arrived that night, Mom did not come out to speak to law enforcement. Don Wells, the father of Summer, did. The neighbors were there, people from the church too. But Mom stayed in the house and was on social media and things like that. So Summer's mom didn't search. I recall her saying on she has a YouTube channel, but one of the rules on there was often you're not allowed to speak about Summer. It was really sad. But one time she said that she does search, that when she's driving down the highway, she looks out the window towards the side of the road. Imagine. That's your search efforts. So it's also, the sheriff does not come out much. He has an alleged relation to Don Wells. I believe it's through marriage. And there's a lot about him I'll share with you, not tonight because I want to keep going. So those of you have background information. So lots of rumors, not a lot of fact, but that, they just aren't giving updates. When you have an Amber Alert, you are supposed to be keeping the child's image, disappearance, locate, where they were last seen in the media, even if you don't have investigative information. Now, we are blessed that At Night has been doing that for Sebastian. He also has an Amber Alert because he has not been getting, updates from, the public information officer for TBI. Now, Summer is being taken under At Night's wing, and she as well is on the billboards. Very positive, because she doesn't have anyone running up to police saying, what are you going to do? Now, I do know in the last interview, I did hear the father say, police haven't called them and told them anything. I think you have to be that parent who's willing to call. So I asked, when did Summer's parents call Sumner County last to say, what's the update? I asked, when did Sebastian's mom and stepdad, Hawkins County was for Summer, call Sumner County last and say, do we have any updates? Now I'll ask for Jonathan Hoang. I know Seth Rogers does. He talks to them on a regular basis. That's Sebastian's father. I'm talking about the mother and stepfather. I'm talking about Summer's mother and father. When was the last time? Now let's talk about Jonathan Hoang. His parents, under 2 weeks, didn't like the way the local police officer were handling the investigation, called the FBI to make a complaint. They told them, go to the Attorney General and file a complaint. By day 12, the Attorney General was on the case, and an attorney was assigned. Law enforcement met with them once, or said they did suddenly in a statement, because they said, we met with the family to clear up what's going on. We will continue to assist searching for Jonathan Hoang, and we will look at the footage from the PI. Because what happened is they had to hire a PI because law enforcement scaled back. They said, there's nothing more we can do. He's 21. There's no crime here. Well, Jonathan's high functioning, autistic, and it's unlike him to leave, just like Sebastian. The last time Jonathan was seen was Sunday, March 30th, going to bed. After getting back from a walk at 7:30 p.m., he went into his room, khaki pants, green shirt, carrying his iPad, and black slip-on shoes. When Mom went to check on him, excuse me, the next morning at 6:30, he wasn't there. He was caught on camera footage coming back from that walk at 7:30, like the family said, but no footage caught him leaving the house. the family thinks he must have left through the back door and someone told him to lock it and grab his iPad. He reserves his iPad usually takes it when he's going on distances or car trips. Very interesting. So he's high functioning. He can carry out conversations, Jonathan can. If you see him, just to call 911. Now, the parents, the update that I have for you today is the family has been relentless. They are just not giving up. So the parents now have emergency guardianship. And I will read you the update. And what I believe that's going to do for them is, because Jonathan's 21, he is labeled as a vulnerable adult, I believe is what the term is. So they have now gotten emergency guardianship, in my opinion, so the age 21 isn't going to be a deterrence in getting assistance in searching and locating Jonathan. Very similar story. He didn't take his jacket. He didn't take his phone. He didn't have shoes on. Then about a week later, the clothes that they saw him going into his room in, that they had reported him to be last wearing, the sister found in her clean laundry basket. So somehow between seeing him go to the room that night in the clothing, somehow the clothes got into the washer, washed, and put in the sister's laundry basket, and didn't notice it for 9 days, and those were the clothes that were described. So that part's interesting. I'm not sure how. Maybe he tossed them in the washer. I don't know. Maybe that's their routine. They take them off and just throw them in the washer. Could be. So very interesting. The family's very concerned. There was an update during last week that they said they may know where he is, but we haven't heard anything since then. So what I'm going to do is read you their update today. Excuse me. Excuse me. This is from yesterday, excuse me. And this is on the group Help Us Find Jonathan Hoang, Endangered and Missing Person. Now the clothing part's strange, right? Someone else had said something that I said I was going to get to, and I don't think I did. Hold on. Let me go, before I go on, there was a comment, and it might have been about Summer's case. No, Maui son. Don Wells went to jail June, July, August, September. 4 months and 2 weeks after Summer Wells went missing, but it was for a DUI. And ironically, he was in there, I believe, 10 months. The whole time he was in there, Ronnie Lawson, the sheriff, now he's got him behind bars, said he never questioned him about Summer. That was shocking to me. I couldn't believe it. So, but yes, it was for a DUI. It was for a DUI, and he also did the rounds at night all the time. You know, allegedly, like CP's been doing. He does it. He was doing it all the time too, going around different YouTube channels and talking. And usually, though, it was nonsensical because he was, in my opinion, and those of you who saw it, yours probably, in my opinion, allegedly, a little tip in the glassy, if you know what I mean. So, help us find Jonathan Hoang, endangered and missing person. Just trying to see, sorry, real quick, if there's any questions. Oh, Michelle Reed Duncan, you lived about 20 minutes away from where she lived? Okay. How sad, right? So do you live also near Layla Santinella and Helen Snap? They're from Kingsport, Summers from Rogersville, right next to each other. Very sad. Same county, I believe. Yeah, same county. Hi, Joanne. Okay. Help us find Jonathan Hoang, endangered and missing person. Jonathan's parents have secured emergency guardianship. In the eyes of the law, this case can no longer be viewed or handled as a missing adult who left on their own accord. There we go. From the start, this should never have been the approach. We are seeking answers as to why the detectives and Snohomish County Sheriff's Office did not accommodate their normal course of action due to Jonathan and his documented disability. We have extensive evidence that they did not modify their practices to account for Jonathan's disability, medical needs, and vulnerable state. Major legislative change, clearer process, and protections are needed for all disabled, vulnerable adults. We don't want anyone else to ever have to go through what our family has gone through. So now they can't say, well, we're not going to look because he's 21. Our top priority, though, is and always will be finding Jonathan. Hopefully, we are one step closer. I hope so. I hope so. And they had there was something else I saw. Oh, okay. It says read the full press release, and I do want to read it. Okay. This is from 2 days ago from the Hoang family. It is their response to the sheriff. It says this is from April 21st, so 2 days ago. Response to Snohomish County Sheriff's Office, some SCSO public statement on the case of Jonathan Hoang. Wow, they really dot every I and cross every T. They are not going to be ignored. We are deeply thankful to the public for continuing to share Jonathan Hoang's story. Please hit the thumbs up if you're in here, please, so we can get Jonathan's update out there that he is now under emergency guardianship. If you see him, although he's 21, call 911 so they can call his parents, please. And Summer Wells and Sebastian Rogers, please give that a thumbs up so we can get all their darling, handsome faces out there and their case. Jonathan is a 21-year-old autistic adult with complex medical needs who disappeared on March 30th in Arlington, Washington. This response is offered to address several misleading claims, critical omissions, and factual inaccuracies contained in the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office press release and frequently asked question dated April 18th. Their claim. Number 1, initial reporting, response failures, and MCU delay, major crime unit delay. Their claim is the major crimes unit took over the case on April 4th and search efforts began immediately. Clarification from the family. This timeline confirms a 5-day delay in initiating a criminal investigation. Given Jonathan's status as a vulnerable adult with cognitive disabilities, the decision to delay the major crimes unit involvement was unacceptable. Crucial information was available immediately. Jonathan's shoes, preferred jacket, phone, and other personal effects were left behind. He had never left home without these items before, even for short walks. Temperatures were cold, making his lack of clothing even more concerning. All this sounds very familiar to Sebastian's case, right? There were clear signs of digital and behavioral anomalies as relayed by the family. Okay. It is vital to understand that Jonathan, as an adult with autism, someone with rigid routines and sensory needs, did not have a tendency to deviate from established behaviors. Leaving behind key items is not typical behavior for Jonathan and should have been treated as a serious red flag indicating potential danger or foul play from the start. Despite these urgent indicators, SCSO conducted an apparent investigation in the early days aside from fielding 911 calls. There was no proactive outreach from investigators to family, school, or the community. A school resource officer, not an investigator, was deputized to communicate with school staff. So they're saying there was no investigation in those early days. The Major Crimes Unit has not maintained open communication with the family. Communication has been initiated by the family, not the lead detective. This lack of urgency directly undermined the investigation. Oops, hold on, guys. 1 second. Sorry about that. Where were we? This lack of urgency directly undermined the investigation. Early surveillance, canvassing, interviews, and digital forensics could have yielded far more insight if... Hold on, guys. Let me let her out. Sorry about that. Where did I leave off? This lack of urgency directly undermined the investigation. Early surveillance, canvassing, interviews, and digital forensics could have yielded far more insight if Major Crimes Unit had responded immediately on March 31st. Instead, search and rescue was prioritized without parallel criminal investigative support, wasting precious time in the critical early window. I'm hoping in both Summer and Sebastian's case, we had early parallel criminal investigative support, investigation. While people were searching, there should always be a parallel investigation in case it turns out it's foul play. So they said they wasted precious time in the critical early window. We need to save this article, right? It's from Autism Foundation. Is it? See, oh, it is. It is from the Autism Foundation. They are responding. Interesting. Okay. Let's see here. Sorry, y'all. Lost my place. Leaving behind key items is not typical behavior for Jonathan and should have been treated as a serious red flag indicating potential danger or foul play from the start. Despite these indicators, SCSO conducted no apparent investigation in the early days. There was no proactive outreach from investigators to families, school, or the community, and a school resource officer, not an investigator, was deputized to communicate with the school staff. The Major Crimes Unit has not maintained open communication with the family. Communication has been initiated by the family, not the detective. This lack of urgency. Oh, I'm sorry, I read all this. Saying they should have had they need to have had a parallel criminal investigative support along with search and rescue. So, EMPA issuance delay and NCIC entry. Ooh. Now, they're supposed to have NCIC in immediately, so let's see what happened. The Endangered Missing Person Alert, that's EMPA, was delayed until April 4th due to system limitations and a review process. That's the sheriff's claim, that the Endangered Missing Person Alert was delayed until April 4th due to system limitations and a review process. Clarification by the Autism Foundation. This is an egregious misrepresentation of the EMPA system, Endangered Missing Person Alert System. And while these actions were eventually completed, they were not immediate, and the delay hindered both public awareness and the interagency collaboration in the crucial early window. Jonathan met the criteria for EMPA activation from the outset due to his diagnosis of autism, his complex medical needs, his abrupt and uncharacteristic disappearance. The EMPA process includes NCIC entry by the Washington State Patrol Coordination and statewide alerts. SCSO has never confirmed if Jonathan was entered into NCIC prior to the EMPA being issued. despite repeated inquiries. The EMPA was only issued after external pressure from the family and advocates who contacted Washington State Police directly, coordinated mass outreach to local and state officials. See, I tell you, those local and state officials, they'll work when we need them. Persistently followed up with Shawnee County Sheriff's Office by phone and email. Then the EMPA system did not delay this alert. Sumner or Shawnee County Sheriff's Office in action did. Boom, right? Additionally, SCSO continued to assert there was no evidence of a crime, and they have it in quotes, and, quote, no time or manpower to investigate. Oh my gosh. A pattern of dismissiveness that delayed appropriate escalations, because ultimately the case was transferred to major crime units due to the circumstances of this case. Instead of recognizing the indicators of danger early, the case was downplayed and crucial tools like public alerts and database entries were not immediately activated. Yikes. 3, surveillance failures. Remember, this is from the Autism Foundation to the Sheriff's Office. They are responding to their claims. So here's the Sheriff's Office third claim. The first claim from the Sheriff's Office was that they took over on April 4th and began immediately. Major Crimes Unit took over on April 4th and began searching immediately. And that wasn't accurate. Then they also said that the endangered missing person alert was delayed until April 4th due to system limitations and a review process. Okay? Now, and they just cleared up all of that it was not. It was from lack of downplaying the case and not following through on some of that. Okay? Surveillance footage. They're responding to their third claim about surveillance footage. The Sheriff's Office claim is surveillance footage was reviewed as part of early efforts. Clarification from the Autism Foundation. This is categorically false. When the case was transferred to the Major Crimes Unit, no surveillance was proactively obtained or reviewed. The burden of canvassing local businesses and collecting footage was placed on the family. Surveillance videos that might have captured movement or known persons of interest were collected by the family and advocates, not law enforcement. Additionally, daily information provided by the private investigator has not been processed effectively. Despite the family and the PI's diligent efforts to provide valuable information, much of it has been dismissed as non-evidentiary or irrelevant with no investigation to substantiate this claim. Now remember, they filed a complaint with the Attorney General of Washington, who has an attorney on the case. So this document is going to be evidence coming from the Autism Foundation. Let's see here. It has been dismissed as non-evidentiary or irrelevant with no investigation to substantiate this claim. There was no effort to connect the information to Jonathan's case, leaving crucial leads unexplored. Fourth claim by the Sheriff's Office is about digital forensics, and they claim Jonathan's phone and computer were analyzed but yielded no useful leads. Clarification from the Autism Foundation. This assertion has been inconsistent and unverified. Initially, the family was told Apple denied access to data. In response, advocates worked intensively to appeal that decision. Later, the narrative shifted multiple times, raising doubts about whether proper digital forensic protocols were ever followed. See how a shifting narrative sets off red flags? It's from law enforcement, right? We're seeing it from parents too, right? And it does. Regardless of who it comes from, a shifting narrative, the truth doesn't shift. So later, the narrative shifted multiple times, raising doubts about whether proper digital forensic protocols were even followed. No report has been shared confirming whether iCloud or social media data was accessed, if metadata or deleted files were recovered, if forensic professionals were consulted. In a digital age, failure to promptly pursue and transparently report digital leads in a missing person case involving a vulnerable adult is a major concern. The fifth claim. This is something, right, you all? They're on top. They are on top of it. They are responding claim by claim. Claim by claim. Oh, really? I hadn't looked up his address yet. You're right, Carolyn. I had not looked up his address yet. Yes, Carolyn, and there was more I was going to talk about Summer, and I got off on Jonathan, and there still is more I'm going to talk about Summer, and what you just said there about that, I can share something with you that I have from 2021 from TBI on that very topic. Okay, so I do have more to go back to on Summer as well. So now this one is clarification on communication with the family. The sheriff's office claim is this: the family has been in daily contact with the sheriff's office. Oh my gosh. Clarification: this is unequivocally false. The family experienced repeated delays in communication. Many updates came only after media attention or public pressure, not through any proactive communication from law enforcement. As advocates for the family, we began contacting them starting April 2nd via email and phone. On the initial call, the administrator who answered refused to provide contact details for the detective handling the case and gave a erroneous email address. Wow. Since then, a formal complaint was submitted to the Office of Professional Accountability within Snohomish County Sheriff's Office. Write that down. The office is, we need to, there's like in Hawkins County right now, Summer needs a lot of help. Office of Professional and other cases, we need to know these things. Accountability. Perfect. They filed a formal complaint. Direct outreach was made to the Office of Professional Accountability Lieutenant. Additional efforts were made to contact the officer assigned to handle complaints. We initiated contact early in the case through multiple emails and phone calls that were left unanswered. These outreach efforts occurred well before any public requests were made for additional community support, underscoring that early communication challenges were not due to high call volume. To date, not one of these contacts has responded. Only one individual from the search and rescue team has communicated with us, but unfortunately was unable to assist due to the case being handed over to Major Crimes Unit. This was escalated through the proper channels with absolutely no response. Furthermore, the Sheriff's Office claims of frequent communication with the family are erroneous. Most of the contact has been to repeatedly assert no evidence of a crime, quote, and no time or manpower to investigate, quote. This approach did not contribute to the investigation's progression, but instead downplayed the urgency of Jonathan's disappearance. With that, on April 15th, we received a text from the detective saying he would contact an external point of contact that the family requested be given approval to proceed. This was not a proactive gesture. It was a delayed reaction to days of silence after the family asked about whether outside help would be permitted. It is false and misleading to present this as a willing collaboration by the Sheriff's Office. Foul play dismissal. Their claim, number 6. They claimed there is no evidence of foul play. Clarification. Hold on, let me take a sip of my soda. This conclusion was premature without adequate investigation. No evidence of foul play cannot mean no possibility of foul play. Ooh, that's a great line. And cannot mean no possibility of foul play, especially when no comprehensive interviews, forensic analysis, or surveillance review had been done during first week. We are actively working to ensure all persons of interest are appropriately examined and to question how and why certain individuals were cleared so quickly. So they did have persons of interest that they pointed out to the sheriffs who were cleared quickly without documentation or transparency. In addition, the information and updates regularly provided, sorry, it keeps scrolling, regularly provided by the PI were not consistently incorporated into the investigative efforts. At times, this information was dismissed as unrelated to Jonathan's case, which may have contributed to missed opportunities. iPad tracking. Remember, he had the iPad with him, but it doesn't have cellular, and they thought it had died by then, within a couple of days or so. The sheriff's office claimed the iPad could not be tracked due to lack of cellular data. Clarification. While technically accurate, the response is incomplete. Even without cellular data, iPads can ping Wi-Fi networks. Logs of connected routers, MAC addresses, and geolocation history can often be accessed or cross-referenced by Apple or internet service providers. There is no evidence this was pursued or shared. Someone's going to have some explaining to do after this document, I'm afraid. There's no evidence. This is one, they are countering the sheriff's claims. So when I say the sheriff's claim, that's their side, and then the Autism Foundation is countering. There's no evidence this was pursued or shared. No forensic report has been provided, and no clear explanation has been given as to what steps were taken. So it sounds like the family had some people in mind, persons of interest. Public engagement. The public public engagement. Sorry, it keeps scrolling down every time. Public engagement. The public has been encouraged to help. The community, and that's their claim. Clarification, the community rallied not because of law enforcement guidance, but because of the family and public's persistence. Volunteers handled much of the outreach, search, coordination, and flyer distribution. Remember, and they protested on the corners that the sheriffs needed to get answers? The sheriff's office failed to support or organize these efforts effectively, often issuing incomplete or delayed statements that minimized urgency and created confusion. Additionally, some public statements released by the sheriff's office included inaccuracies and mischaracterizations of Jonathan, which were harmful to the representation of who Jonathan is and his ability to be independent. So, they are very particular. They want the details correct. They're not going to sit around for a year till they correct them. I'm talking about the misrepresentation, because we had that in Sebastian's case, and by individuals, and KP, the mother, said it, in the chaos of getting all the information out, but she said that at the 1 year interview. So it took a year to come out and clear it up. Jonathan Hoang's family is doing it right now. So they are indeed, they are also saying, the last one, that they have not turned down any help. No other agency offering help has been turned away. And the Autism Foundation says this is absolutely misleading. They said they have multiple agencies. This is a weird document. Every time I touch it, it moves. Multiple agencies did not feel empowered to intervene early due to their jurisdictional hold on the case. The family In fact, the family had previously shared with investigators that a pair of his mother's shoes had gone. Oh, wait, it jumped again. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. You all keeps jumping. This is misleading. Multiple agencies, so weird, did not feel empowered to help the family. I am really sorry, you guys. It keeps jumping. But I want to read it because it's about the family. Very strange. The family and advocates had to independently initiate contact with the FBI and local legislators to move. Oh my goodness, it did it again. Sorry. To move the case forward. Early, open, collaboration would have prevented this delay and brought in much needed resources. Another thing they wanted us to know is that there was something that jumped out here. Okay, for example, they say about the statements that were mischaracterizations is they implied he was independently using public transportation and actively applying for jobs, both of which were false. These portrayals paint a misleading picture of his level of independence and daily functioning. Statements claiming he was barefoot when there was no evidence to support that assertion. Oh, in fact, the family had previously shared with investigators that a pair of his mother's shoes had gone missing from by the unlocked deck door, a detail that was ignored in favor of speculation until much later. So they have this document out, and the family is speaking out. Jonathan Hoang has been missing 24 days. Between when they saw him go into his room, the morning at 6:30 a.m. when Mom went in, he was gone. He's not a wanderer, we're hearing. Now we're hearing he may not have been without shoes, that the shoes were gone. So clothing's strange. We don't know what he was wearing, but he is now under emergency guardianship, so his age will not be an issue for the sheriff's office to use, saying he's an adult. Jonathan Hoang, Arlington, Washington. Let's share his story, please, and bring him home. It's only been 24 days missing. So back to Summer real quick. Some of the things going on regarding Summer right now. As we know, At Night is putting her up on the billboards, as well. But there's also been a rumor going around, and with Summer's case, there's a lot of rumors because there's not a lot of information. So I wanted you to know a rumor's going around that it's being said that Summer was possibly buried in a cemetery. And go back and watch my video from earlier today. It's got all the information. It's a 5-minute drive from her home, 1.8 miles. It's being said she was buried underneath a body. So, for instance, they buried her there before the other person was laid down to rest. The person's last name is Morrison, and it's at Morrison Cemetery. I believe his name is Timothy. It's in my other video. I looked it up. He passed away June 11th, 2021. Summer went missing June 15th of 2021. His viewing was on June 17th of 2021, and he was lowered in and had his graveside service on the 18th of June. So whether or not she was put in there is what it's being said prior to Timothy being lowered in there. I don't know how much validity. I do not know what's going to happen with that. But that is what's being said. Now, tips, if it's a reliable tip, they may have to exhume the body to see if one's underneath. Right? Very strange, very strange. Oh, and the other part of the story is that Candace, Summer's mother, was seen at that cemetery, at that grave, crying with 2 flowers in her hands. So take it for what you want. That's what's going around. And also, her mother's friend, Summer's mother, Candace Bly's friend, Marlena, is coming out and talking now. She's the one who said that Summer went missing earlier than 6:30 because Candace called her around 4:30 and said they can't find Summer. And now, if you recall, Ronnie Lawson said recently that there was a 2-hour delay. So there we go, right? And also, it's being said, because her daughter was over there spending the night with Summer shortly before Summer went missing. She's the one in the picture where Summer's so pale. I'll have to pull that up for you off at another time. They're standing together, and Summer just looks like a little ghost almost. And they apparently sent her home early. I'm just going to play it for you. Let me play it for you. This is credit to a channel called Prayer Garden. of America. Mods, can you drop the link, please? Do you mind? Let me see here. Okay, let's just go to it. I'm just going to play it for you. Makes it easier.
For Summer, around the time she went missing.
Yes, she did. She's told me when Grandma or whatever, Grandpa, whatever her name is,
Grandass.
Grandass, yeah. When Grandass brought her home that morning, she said that she seen a suitcase and it was packed, that her and her daddy was going away, and it was just her and her daddy. Nobody else. Nobody else was going. It was just her and her father going. And yes,
Yeah.
my daughter has talked to the police. Yes, my daughter has talked to FBI. So yes, they do know this. She went there on a Wednesday night. No, a Tuesday night. And she was supposed to stay for a week because it was in the summer and she was out of school, and they were supposed to go to wetlands and stuff like that because my car was down. And Candace said, let me have her. We're going to go to wetlands. I'll pay for it all. Me and Dawn will take care of her. And I'll bring her back to you on Sunday evening when we get back, or you can pick her up. We just stay in touch and I'll let you know. Well, I didn't have time to stay in touch because Friday morning about 10 o'clock, Grandass was bringing my daughter to the bottom of the hill and dropped her off at my house.
Right.
Where I lived at that time in Bayletson. And I asked my daughter why she was at home so soon. She said, I asked my daughter why she was at home so at my house.
Right.
4 o'clock, Grandass was bringing my daughter to the bottom of the hill and dropped her off at my house.
Right.
Where I live. And I'll bring her back to you on Sunday evening when we get back, or you can pick her up. We just stay in touch and I'll let you know. Well, I didn't have time to stay in touch because Friday morning about 10 o'clock, Grandass was bringing my daughter to the bottom of the hill and dropped her off at my house.
Right. Right.
Where I lived at that time in Bayletson. And I asked my daughter why she was at home so soon. She said that, here comes the suitcase thing, said that her dad and her was going away on a field trip and she had to come home. On a trip somewhere. They were going away for a couple of days and she had to come home.
Did your daughter say that she actually saw the suitcase, actually saw it packed?
Yes, my daughter's seen it packed. She's seen them putting clothes into a suitcase. She also said that she picked out her favorite dress to take with her. I mean, what she did, she had a favorite dress. It was pink and it was Paw Patrol. It was.
So, story is, she just up and was gone. Now, this former friend of Candace, the mother, says the daughter was supposed to stay 7 days and they'd bring her back on Sunday. Hold on one second. I want to look something up real quick. Let me look something up. I forget what day it was. And they brought her back early. Okay. On Friday morning. Summer was reported missing Tuesday. So Friday, interesting. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday would have been the 11th. And they were supposed to return on the 18th. Okay, got it. So this story is being told as to why her daughter came home early from their time together, spending the week with Summer, instead of being brought back on Sunday. And I'll have to get the date specifically for you when I can look at a calendar. Sunday, they brought her, Grandass brought her back at 10 a.m. Friday morning, early. And the little girl said she is going on a trip, just her and her daddy. She picked out her favorite pink Paw Patrol dress. That was, wow. So that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 days later, Summer was reported missing. It kind of makes me question that video of her that day swimming at the pond. It makes me wonder if that was actually that day. Did it have a timestamp from that day? Maybe not. Is that perhaps why that wasn't offered up for the photo, since it was the same day photo? Maybe that last photo of her in the car, same thing, taken at a different day. I don't know. Just throwing out theories for entertainment purposes only. Okay, Caroline, let me tell you, back in, and I'm putting it down to share the video with you next time. We talk about Summer. When Summer went missing in 2021, I was looking for her, researching her every day. I'd wake up just like with Sebastian. Did they find her? I'd go on TBI, look for whatever I could. And well, one day I was researching Summer, and I clicked on her name in the TBI, and it said trafficking, an article on trafficking. And I thought, well, that's odd. So I went out and I clicked on Kennedy Doyle, a little infant that from Memphis that had been, I think, just a couple days old, on her way for her first shots, and her father unalived her mother and tossed her in the river, Mississippi. And they haven't found her yet. Still, by the way. So I went and looked at Kennedy's case, because she also was an Amber Alert in Tennessee. And I looked to see if hers said trafficking. No, and hers said something about African-American children. And she was African-American. So Summers pertained to Summer. The babies pertain to the babies. So I believe, in my opinion, they believe she was trafficked. Because I don't think the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation would link an article to Summer's name. It's not there anymore, by the way. That's why I say I'll show it to you. If it didn't pertain, because when I checked, Kennedy's article pertained to her. So I do, Caroline, think possibly, yes. I think maybe possibly, and I know some of you are thinking, well, that's a far reach to think maybe she was trafficked, right? But for those of you who don't know her father yet, his first wife, who he had 2 boys with, said, and this is verified because Jen Coffindaffer has brought it up too, that it's verified that he did try, when they were babies, took them to the corner and tried to sell them for drug money, or drugs. So it could be. He's also allegedly, stories have it from Candace and what's that guy's name, Jose, that he would disappear in terrible, like, drug dens and brothels in the city. I don't know what their closest city was. I don't remember. And disappear for days. And oftentimes they didn't know where, he'd come back in debt. Okay. So he also, oh boy, it's a very triggering story. They don't search for Summer, you know that. But Summer, next time I'm going to show you the traffic thing, and then I'm going to show you the environment in which Summer grew up in. But I will tell you one thing is Summer shared a bed with her mom and her dad, and they slept naked because Summer liked to feel close, is how her dad lived. Summer was 5 when she went missing. So she shared a mattress. She was next to Daddy and Mommy on, I don't know which side Mom was on, but She was next to Daddy, and Daddy also showered with her. So, and that was credit, by the way, to Prayer Garden of America, just so you all know. That little, a very inappropriate environment for her. I hope so, Caroline Miller. I hope so. I hope she's still alive. I really do. Well, you know, hashtag keep the faith, right? Caroline, not to mention this text message Candace got on her phone from someone named Andy. Andy B? Scotty Tahati, what was the text? See, I haven't, a lot of times there's so much rumors you can't follow. It's hard to follow the case. But Scotty Tahati, what do you mean? Give me the tea. So Summer, I want to show you, well, we're getting some tea here. I want to show you the last update in the TBI newsroom for Summer, who has an active Amber Alert. And there's a public information officer who should indeed, oops, sorry, y'all, should indeed be updating, because that's what you're supposed to do. Hold on a second. Why do I keep doing that? Did I not keep it up? I guess I didn't. Let me just go to the TBI newsroom real quick for you. Hold on. And then we'll go to Sebastian's as we segue over there too. 2 kids from Tennessee, very high profile cases. Not a lot of communication to the public. The last time the TBI newsroom was updated for Summer Wells was June 14th, 2023. So a year and 10 months ago. Summer Wells disappeared, leading to one of the most exhaustive and involved missing children's cases we've ever investigated. Okay, so those are 2 words we need to remember. It's involved. So I tend to think, Caroline, I'm with you on that. Because of what I saw in TBI under her name, I tend to believe the involved part is because of the layers that it may have encountered if indeed it was rental gone bad, sale gone bad, whatever. Though we have no new details to share, rest assured, we're continuing to work with the FBI and the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office to chase every lead, ask every question, and search every place we can to find Summer. We won't stop until we have answers. Summer remains the subject of an ongoing Amber Alert. Thanks to forensic artists with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, we have an age progression image that shows what Summer may look like today. We ask the public to help us by refraining from sharing speculation posted or discussed by non-official sources and reporting only credible tips to 1-800-TBI-FIND. Now, this would be Summer at 7. To me, she looks like the age of one of my middle school students. I think that looks much older than 7. But she looks a lot like her mama there, doesn't she? I really think she looks a lot like her mom there. Let me close out a couple of things so I can get to what we want to here real quick. Oh, you all didn't see that. I'm sorry, you all. I thought you saw it too. I apologize for that. That was a oops, right? Here is TBI holding a press conference for Summer Wells. Okay. 1 second, let me get to it. I'm tired, obviously. I'm so sorry. It's taken me a while. Okay. This is from June 8th. Let me make sure. June 18th, I believe. Let me make sure. Find out what it is. June 17th. Make sure you have it. That was weird, guys. Sorry about that. I don't just have trying to show you. Hold on. There we go.
Ask how they can assist with the search. At this time, we are not.
Sorry, y'all. I was trying to get rid of the echo. Hold on. We're here now. Sorry, I just needed to get rid of that echo.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Leslie Earhart, a public information officer with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Thank you for being here and continuing to cover the search for 5-year-old Summer Wells. Unfortunately, we don't have any significant updates to provide as Summer is still missing, but we did want to share the latest on the investigation and the ongoing search. As you know, she's now the subject of a statewide Amber Alert. She was last seen outside of her home in the 100 block of Ben Hill Road, which is located in the Beach Creek community of Hawkins County. A family member reported her missing to the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office at approximately 6:30 Tuesday evening. At the time she went missing, Summer was reportedly wearing a gray pants and a pink shirt. She is believed to be barefoot. We do want to encourage the public, especially residents living in the area of Ben Hill Road, to check any trail cameras or security cameras that they might have that could have captured Summer on video or in photographs. We also encourage residents to check any crawl spaces, outbuildings, or sheds that would make for good hiding places. As we mentioned, the search is ongoing. There are a number of agencies involved. I'm going to turn it over to Sheriff Ronnie Lawson to talk more about the search and the conditions that authorities are up against.
So that is 2 days later, and they've sounded the Amber Alert for her. They're still looking, but that is Leslie Earhart, and that is the public information officer for Summer Wells' case. I hope Summer's alive, Caroline. I hope you all are. Welcome in. We're talking about Summer Wells. We went over Jonathan Hoang, and we are talking about Summer Wells. Oh, yes, yes. I agree. Caroline Miller, the Nove report. I'm not sure what you mean. Nove report in Tennessee. Look like we're going somewhere. Oh, I think I know what you mean. Yes. Okay. Okay. So this is Leslie Earhart. She is now passing it over to the sheriff of Hawkins County, Ronnie Lawson, rumored to have like a distant cousin relationship through marriage or something with Don Wells, Summer's father. And we really don't hear much from the sheriff. So one moment. Ronnie Lawson.
It's been a very intense 21 hours of a lot of searching, a lot of investigation by 19 different agencies. Last night, we had approximately 60 to 80 people searching in the woods, with a number of law enforcement officers doing the investigation also. Today, we've had over 100 people in the woods searching throughout the whole region. We also have agents with the TBI and the FBI assisting my office. We jointly investigating this whole circumstance. Our main goal is to find Summer and find her safe. We have plenty of help. We don't need any assistance from the local people. We have the professional people out searching, and we just appreciate everybody, their contributions. It's been a tremendous outpour from the community with the water, the food, and the snacks. It's just overwhelming, and it's a very intense investigation. I know the public needs to know things, but it's ongoing, and we will release things as we can when we can. And our main goal right now is to find Summer.
We'll take a couple of questions, but keep in mind we can't discuss specifics of the investigation. Can you talk about the area back here?
Absolutely. It's very dense. The terrain is tremendously hard. We have virtually no cell phone service. The radio systems we use, which is not that good, we have very little radio communication. We do have several command posts setting up, but what makes it so hard is the communication between the boots on the ground, searching the woods, and the different agencies and officers, and it's very hard to communicate. And we're not like we're in these small towns or in towns where you got a lot of cell service, and just for instance, when we get texts from the media, you may text and we may get it an hour later, and we have no way to reply to it. And the same way with the officers, and the ECOM Central Dispatch has done.
Hi, I wanted to say that if they have problem with cell service and all of that, you would think being in that rural area, they would rectify that, find a way to be able to communicate in those situations where they're searching and rescuing or looking for criminals and things like that, right? So I would think so. That's just my opinion, but that's why I kind of wanted to stop it. They need to be, I hope they get a little bit more prepared where they can communicate, right? Now they have the new billboards coming up, so I think we might be hearing more from them. Please hit that thumbs up. Let's continue. This is about Summer Wells, who was reported missing June 15th, 2021.
Soon, and we're going to continue. Since when we get texts from the media, you may text and we may get it an hour later, and we have no way to reply to it. And the same way with the officers, and the ECOM Central Dispatch has done an excellent job. TBI has their command post that should arrive soon, and we're going to continue on until we find Summer and put this case to rest.
Do you believe there was foul play involved? Is there any history in this family?
it's the family are cooperating, and it's really too early to tell. We're still just basically just gathering information, and we're in the search mode right now.
When the Amber Alerts switch from missing child alerts to Amber Alert, what goes into the decision of putting that Amber Alert out in 25 days?
Sure. After the initial search and as we developed more information as part of the investigation, our team made the decision to elevate the alert to an amber.
And what
An endangered child alert is a mid-level alert where a child could potentially be in danger. An amber alert is, we issue those when we believe a child is in imminent danger of bodily harm or death, and it's the most severe alert.
It appeared to be that she walked away from her home. Why was it upgraded to an amber alert? Can you clarify that just a little bit more?
Well, the bottom line is we don't know where she is at this time. Again, there was the initial search. We acted, and the sheriff's office acted on the information available at the time. And as we learned more in the first several hours into today, it led us to issue an amber alert.
Well, when the Amber Alert was issued, you said there was new information that led you to believe that Summer might be in more danger. Can you expand on that a little bit?
I can't. That's part of the investigation.
Sheriff Lawson mentioned earlier that he's asking community folks that if you have enough resources here, what's your message to the community that they feel like they want to help in some regard? How can they help us?
If they see something or know something, they need to tell somebody. That's the biggest thing. A lot of people don't want to get involved. They want to reply to us or respond anonymously. That's fine, as long as we find Summer. That's the main thing right now. And we're talking about the Amber Alert. When they raise that up another level, that helps more people paying more attention. You get more clues, you get more calls, and then everybody can call that 1-800-TBI find, and it all goes into a database, which helps us in an area where we don't have a lot of communication anyway. So TBI helps us with that.
So that is the sheriff, Ronnie Lawson. And that is right at the beginning of the search for Summer Moon Utah Wells, who was 5 at the time, who turned 8 in February. She would have been starting kindergarten. And I always worry, because we heard about open CPS cases and things like that. And I always worry as a child disappears right before starting kindergarten that it could be avoidance of mandatory reporters. I always worry about that. So we do not know where Summer is. We do know she is getting recognition, visibility now with billboards. Thank goodness. Thank goodness, because she's really not getting a lot of people banging on the sheriff's door saying, what's going on? Where's Summer? Right? Speaking of which, let's go ahead and talk about real quick. I'm going to start with X, and then we're going to go to the protest that occurred in Sumner County today for police and political corruption. I love that picture, so I wanted to share that with you first. That's just such a great photo. Look at them. I think that just says it all right there, doesn't it? Just says it all. Beautiful photo. So we are going to talk about Sebastian Rogers. He was reported missing on February 26th of 2024 from Hendersonville, Tennessee. He was 15 at the time. He is 16 years old now. His father, Seth Rogers, is literally screaming from the rooftops for help. At night, private intelligence is standing beside him, along with Dog the Bounty Hunter. Tony Mathis, his national spokesperson. Others in the past were run off with threats and intimidations, and this team has not left his side. They will not be deterred. They have now taken Summer under their wing. Look at this beautiful banner they have across their name. America first, we vanish twice. Let's start with children first. United we stand. Yes. Let's see if we have any updates. Oh, Jen Coffindaffer put up the updates. We'll go over her show too. I've got that written down for us to go over Coff shows from the other day. I know some of you were very disappointed that she said it was a cold case, getting to be a cold case, apparently. However, remember the last time she said that, and it really deflated everyone. And then Tony and Seth were on live, and they work very closely with Jen Coffindaffer, former FBI agent, fabulous contribution to our community in true crime and just amazing advocate. And they said they work closely with her and that she uses strategy. So I'm wondering if that's a strategy to say, let's get going. Kind of a kick in the pants, but a passive aggressive one. Looks like it's getting cold, and maybe they'll come out and prove it's not, especially now summer's up on those billboards too. They're driving around Tennessee. Hawkins County seeing them. Sumner County sees them. TBI sees them, and they have both kids Amber Alerts. So movement, that's what we want. Movement for both children. And Sumner County is getting some news about being corrupt politically and their police force. So here is Tennessee. Kids vanish daily here. Call 1-800-TBI fine, not YouTube. Kids vanish daily here. And that's Sebastian. 1-800-TBI fine, not YouTube. Okay. This is from 2 days ago. And it says, and I'll enlarge it so you can screenshot it for those of you who don't have X that like to screenshot it. And this is from At Night Private Intelligence. We don't fold to fear. We don't answer to chaos. We don't negotiate with criminals nor mob crews. We are not here to play politics, stroke egos, or comfort the complacent. We are here for the silenced. We will stand #Sebastian Strong for Sebastian and Summer. Their voices, silent nevermore. We have initiated the process to change the rotation to include both Sebastian and Summer, featured on billboards currently in rotation across the United States, including Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Nashville, Memphis, Knoxville, Chattanooga, and towns throughout Tennessee, Fort Lauderdale and Miami, Florida, Richmond and Lynchburg, Virginia, Columbia and Charleston, South Carolina, Birmingham, Montgomery, and Dothan, Alabama, Chicago and Springfield, Illinois, Atlanta and Macon, Georgia, Dallas, Houston, Killeen, and El Paso, Texas. El Paso's scary because it's right on that border of Juarez, Mexico, which is a very scary part of Mexico. Seattle and Tacoma, Washington, Portland and Eugene, Oregon, Charlotte and Wilmington, North Carolina, Indianapolis, Indiana, Baton Rouge and Monroe, Louisiana, St. Louis and Springfield, Missouri, Las Vegas, Nevada, Salt Lake City, Utah, Denver, Colorado, Newark, New Jersey, Buffalo, New York, Fargo, North Dakota, and beyond. Each of these states now reflects an expanded presence, from Alabama and Arizona to Wisconsin and Utah, standing unified. I hope we get some in Arizona because we are a big trafficking hub. To the naysayers, stand up or shut up. We don't care who you call. Call 911. Call the FBI. Call Dog the Bounty Hunter. Just pick up the damn phone. If you know something, say something. Amen. 14 months will be this Saturday. Will be Mark Sebastian Wayne Rogers having been reported missing this Saturday, and I will be holding a virtual vigil here on the channel to mark the 14 months for Sebastian, also other missing children. So we're going to honor the missing, come together, we're going to unify, be powerful, the strength of an army. So it will be here on this channel. Seth Rogers will be starting with the opening prayer for us. So please be here Saturday. It is at 7:15 Central Time, 8:15 Eastern, a virtual vigil. All of us to come together, remember why we're here, take a breath, and just remember the children. Not the arguing, not sides, nothing. Because what matters is bringing the kids home. So please join me Saturday when we come as a united front for the children. I hope to see you there. I'm looking really very, very forward to it. A very positive experience for us, I hope. And that's what I think we need right now, is something positive when things are just seeming so devastating in so many ways, in so many cases. So let's keep going. Thank you all, and I hope to see you there. So this says, missing Sebastian Rogers, Summer Wells, $447,000 reward called Dog the Bounty Hunter. And I have to look up how I know they're doing something with the reward with Summer too, so I need to look all that up for you. I have not had a second yet to. Kids vanish daily here. Call 1-800-TBI-FIND, not YouTube. She's so darling too. Look at her. Look at how pretty she is. Such beautiful children. Let's see. Okay. Let's see if we have any more while we're here. Oops, sorry. Let me go to. We do. We've got, it says traffic jam. Here it is. It says, still missing. 447,000 reward. Dog the Bounty Hunter. Tips at manhunts.1. If seen, dial 911. Tips to TBI at Tennessee.gov. Children's lives matter. Yes, they do. They are innocent. And it says traffic jam. And it gives the number to call. 447,000. America protects its children. We do. We need to do better. Dial 911, not YouTube. And one thing I want to show you that's interesting too is they're putting out this. Because we can never give up hope. Okay. So here's JC Dugard. She had been in captivity for 18 years before she was rescued. This is Jamie Kloss. She was in captivity for 88 days. She was 13 years old and broke away. She got away. 88 days. Never give up hope. Hashtag keep the faith. Let's see if there's anything else here. Oh, they do have the reward terms, so I will go through that so I can report that to you. And we are all caught up there. So I want to show you now Instagram for the protest. Let's talk the protest. Okay. I have an article also pulled up so we can understand what's going on. What this is it is a rapper. It is a rapper in Tennessee. They are in Sumner County right now. And actually, let me go ahead and play that for you. Well, I'll read this to you first, and then I'll pull you up the rapper and what's going on, okay? So it says they're here in front of the Sumner County courthouse. We demand political and police reform. We demand police reform. We want political and police reform. Okay, a rapper was arrested. So it says free in his name, and I'll pull it up for you. It says, And what the advertisement was a mass protest, peaceful protest for against political and police corruption in Sumner County. And they say, this was today from 9 to 11. Today was just the beginning. We showed up and showed out for all victims of the corrupt Sumner County Courthouse at our peaceful protest right at their front door. There is so much more to come on this important, crucial, and much needed movement. But for now, I will say this. When you are speaking on victims of a system much larger than them, please educate yourselves on what is actually happening. I hope and pray that none of you will ever have to go through what these victims have. Amen. And will continue to fight until they get their justice. We demand political and police reform. Okay? That, my friends, is occurring in Sumner County, and they will be back tomorrow. Political and police reform. They are protesting against political and police corruption in Sumner County. They demand police reform, is what a lot of the signs say. That can only be good for movement in any cases that are open or going on there. Let me share with you real quick what the story is. I thought I had it pulled up. I don't. Okay. Got it. It's rapper Buck. I have not heard of him. Put a 1 in if you've heard of him. I have to say I'm not the most up on rappers, so. Okay, Sumner County, Tennessee. They made the news again. Protesters gathered Wednesday morning outside the Sumner County Courthouse to speak against straight outta Cashville rapper Young Buck being ordered to serve time. Okay, so they're speak out against straight outta Cashville rapper Young Buck being ordered to serve time. Earlier this month, a hearing was held to revoke bond for David Darnell Brown, known by his stage name Young Buck. And there's the protest. More photos. Police reform. Ain't no way you gon' lose. Free Buck. Criminal court judge reportedly determined that Brown had repeated violations of his bond supervision and ordered him to serve 30 days in the Sumner County Jail. Protesters at the courthouse told News 2 that they are standing against what they call political and police corruption. Well, now if he had repeated violations of his bond supervision, let's read on. One protester stated she joined Wednesday morning's gathering to try and get a handle on the corruption and stand up for those who have been affected by the Sumner County court system. I hope they start weeding out these corrupt police, judges, DAs, all of it, said Kimberly Cassidy. Now, we know that the locals have been talking about this since Sebastian went missing. The locals have been very upset that their sheriff has not been standing out and speaking. Now, he doesn't have to say, it's not a stranger, it's your neighbor. It's not a stranger, we have no idea who it is or anything. He doesn't have to say that. But like J.D. Huff did in Fruitland, Idaho for Michael Vaughn, he said, you are not going to take one of our own. He addressed the people and he addressed the public, even when he couldn't address the investigation. In a statement sent to News 2, Sumner County Sheriff Eric Craddock thanked the demonstrators for expressing their views in a lawful and respectful manner. Very nice. As Americans, we are granted the right to free speech and peaceful assembly under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. These rights are foundational to our republic, and it is our duty not only to uphold them, but to protect those who exercise them peacefully. We thank the demonstrators for their cooperation and for expressing their views in a lawful and respectful manner. Amen. That's when the point gets across, right? When you do it without hate Our office remains committed to ensuring public safety while safeguarding the constitutional rights of every citizen. Well, okay, Sheriff Eric Craddock. Brown is scheduled for jury trial July 24th for the following charges: domestic assault, vandalism over $10,000, possession of a weapon by a convicted felon, and 3 counts of a violation order of protection. Well, okay. So, I'll give my viewpoint on that. I will say, in my honest opinion, that, well, it sounds like, he's got some things that he's done, so allegedly being charged with, so we'll just see how that works out. But in my honest opinion, I do feel that they need to speak more. They need to speak more about the victims in their town. They need to speak more to their constituents who vote them in. December, their primary start, or next December, in December, 8 months. Sheriff's primary begins, the county commissioners, the mayor. And I really, in my opinion, think it may be a little hard if they're not happy that they're not hearing anything. Let me just say that honestly. They're not happy they're not hearing anything. They're not happy they're not being addressed. They're not happy nothing's being told. They're not happy Sebastian's not really being discussed. So, election in December, sheriff, county commissioners, mayor, it's the primary. In August is the actual election. Will Sumner County reelect officials if Sebastian Rogers' case has not significantly moved forward? I don't know. We will have to watch and see. We will have to watch and see. So they are protesting. Now, I'm not going to get in the middle of that one. They've got their reasons, but we saw the infractions that the police have listed. So, but I will agree with, there's people saying that they're there for all the different kinds of corruption, from the judges to the police to whatever. So they've got a county that needs to turn around a little bit, in my opinion, as far as communication with their constituents who vote them in and give them the ability, the honor to protect and serve, right? Well, I will be back tomorrow night. I will share with you some of the things on what I found on TBI for Summer under trafficking and her household environment. And then for Sebastian, we'll go over Jen Coffindaffer's wonderful live from Wednesday, was it? And then I will let you know if there's any updates on Michael Vaughn or Jonathan Hoang or anyone else. So I appreciate you all being here. I know it was much later than normal. Many will have to catch it after they wake up or whatever, but thank you so much for joining me. And I appreciate you being here for all the children. I hope to see you all Saturday night at the virtual vigil here on our channel for the children. Let's refocus, let's unite, let's be powerful and have the strength of an army for all the children. Thank you all for everything you do, for your support to the channel, to the kids, to Sebastian's Army, to Seth, to At Night, to Dog, to Tony, to everyone who's helping search for Sebastian. We will bring him home. We will bring Summer home. And we will do our best to bring them all home. Thank you for everything. You are amazing. Talk soon.